Hello, everyone. Sorry for the late Q&A Sundays. Got tied up in a few things and man, but I'm still here, still here. You guys been telling me how much you love these Q&A Sundays, and I got to keep it going. Even when I was starting to think they were just like bull crap. I'm like, okay, they ain't going anywhere. I had a few SMD family members reach out to me and say, "Hey, L, stop doing that." See, that's one thing about the SMD family. We can be direct. It's a weird, different place to be as part of the SMD family. When they come at you, it's always out of love, even though it might not sound like love, but it's out of love. So that's the one thing knowing this allows me to keep open mind, open ears, open eyes, etc. What's up, Dave? What's going on? Welcome. So it's a wonderful thing to have a SMD family. But anyway, I'm here as always, Q&A Sundays, trying to make sure this tradition keeps going. What's up, Calvin S? What's happening? Now, as always, we're going to wait a couple minutes for people to get up in here, and then we're going to get started. What's up, Hyphy? What's going on? When you become a member of the SMD family, that's what it is, man. We're all on the same page. We all trust mathematics. We never break the laws of mathematics when it comes to money, and that is what helps us all grow, right? We want all of us to become multimillionaires. It doesn't matter who becomes a multimillionaire as long as we do it. We teach you how to not teach you and show you that it's not what you think when you look on social media. It's not. That's a trick to fool you to believe that money is a look. That's a lie right there. That you can look and see if somebody has money or not. That's TV. That's an illusion. That's part of the program to make you believe money has a look. It doesn't have a look. It looks like anything if you have money, it can look like anything you want it to look like. It doesn't have to be Ferraris and golf courses. It can be, the main thing is freedom. That's what true wealth is, freedom. Oh man, paid off my credit card. I'm free. Thanks, LJ. Hey, you know what? Thank you for sharing that, Calvin. I appreciate that, man. I know what that means. Congratulations. Too bad you only could share that information here. Slaves wouldn't have an idea of what you're talking about. Paid off a credit card. Why would you do that? Isn't going to hurt your credit score? What's up, Omanique? What's up, Andre? All right, we're going to get started. My name is LJ Young. I am a 100% debt-free motivational speaker and personal finance educator. I help people become financially free by helping them mathematically see outside what I call the debt matrix. And the debt matrix is a place where everybody lives that believes in credit and debt and financing everything that goes down in value. Can't figure out why. It can't be the car payments. Can't be the credit card payments. Can't be the student loan payments. It can't be none of that. It got to be something else, right? But that's where I lived for the first 40 years of my life. Woke up, found Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey said, hey, take the math that you learned in grade school, apply it to your finances, and you'll win with money. Once I did that, I became free, and I realized I was a slave, but I also realized there's two kinds of slaves that live in the debt matrix. There's one that's called an unconscious slaves, okay? Unconscious slaves don't believe in mathematics, and they don't know they don't believe in mathematics. That's why they call themselves homeowners with 30-year mortgages. Well, knowing that's not mathematically true, why are you calling yourself a homeowner? That's because they don't know, right? They believe they own the house that they didn't have the money to buy. That's called an unconscious slave, right? They believe it's okay to finance cars for 84 months, right? Only slaves finance cars, especially for 84 months. That's a definition of a slave. And they believe they got it on sale. They'll go around and say, hey, I got a great deal on this car, and I got it on sale. No, you didn't. They're saying something that's not mathematically true. They're mathematically blind, right? And then there's the conscious slave. that hears and channel like SMD, and they go, wait a minute, if I add up all my savings and add up all my debt, I'm in the negative. That means I'm a slave. Yes. Now they're going to then now they trust mathematics. That's the exit door to the debt matrix. All you got to do is trust math, and you can leave the debt matrix. Right? Everything's hidden in plain sight. So once you trust mathematics, you can leave. So that's what conscious slaves, they realize. Now they trust math. Now they're doing whatever it takes to get out of it, to get out of the debt matrix and no longer be a slave. Right? They're doing whatever it takes. They're taking 2-3 jobs. They're definitely no longer listening to unconscious slaves. I can guarantee you that. Unconscious slaves just do a bunch of chatter. Those are all those guys live in the debt matrix. Anyway, now since I'm free, what I do is help others escape the debt matrix, right? And I prove everything with mathematics. So I'm never wrong. Like, math is an exact science. So since it's an exact science, that means it's never wrong, ever. And if I agree with math, and math is an exact science, that means I'm never wrong, ever. And if your math doesn't agree with my math, that means you're wrong. Okay, you got it? Hey, what's up, Wayman? Now, today is a day that is dedicated for people that are new to the channel, or maybe they're new, maybe they have just become a conscious slave and they need help to get out. Okay, cool. I understand, LJ. I'm a slave. If you're new to the channel, you will hear conscious slaves call themselves a conscious slave. Now, this is going to throw you off because you're a slave. Now, and when an unconscious slave here's a conscious slave call themselves a conscious slaves, they're going to think that's weird. They're like, what the hell are you talking about? Why are you calling yourself a slave? They don't know they're slaves. That's why they're shocked. Okay, those guys are shocked. Now they're conscious slaves. So I'm here to help guide those guys through. Hey, you want the blueprint? Maybe my videos will just guide you through, and you won't even need a consultation with me, because when I followed Dave Ramsey, I didn't need to buy any of his services. I just followed his videos and followed mathematics, and now I'm free. I didn't really need any of that stuff he was selling, right? And so if a lot of you are doing that, great. But if you're having trouble, you need to come see me. You're wasting a lot of time when I can just help you accelerate light years ahead of everybody, right? You just spend this money. Here's the plan. I'm gonna give it to you. You follow it, and you'll be light years ahead of your competition financially. I promise you. And you will carry this information for generations. Okay. Now I'm gonna put the link in there for you guys to come up and you can ask me a question. You don't have to get on camera. And in the meantime, while we're waiting, I'm going to do something for you, for those of you guys listening in the background, because I really want you guys to understand, when you're an unconscious slave, I swear to God, they do you guys so dirty. They do you guys so dirty. Really, really dirty. You don't know. When you don't know, you don't trust math. You don't trust math, and you don't know you don't trust math. That's really bad in the financial world. They are doing you guys so dirty. And when I say doing you dirty, they're doing you dirty legally, not illegally. I'm not talking about the scammers. Scammers, when you're out of the debt matrix, you can clearly see a scammer because anything they do will never make mathematical sense. So that's how you know it's a scam. It can't, for them to win on the scam, whatever they're doing cannot make mathematical sense in your favor. It can't. So when you're out of debt matrix, you can clearly see scammers. Scammers are focused on unconscious slaves because you guys are unconscious. You don't know. You're mathematically blind. Now, in the world of business, what you can't see, the number one thing in business, they're taking advantage of you not trusting mathematics. That's the main thing of business. I promise you, financially, right? You guys don't know that. Nobody gets to finance anything on sale. Of course, there's going to be a sale for every single holiday in the whole calendar year. They probably lobbied to put them there to sell you guys shit, to make you feel like on this particular day you have to buy it, and if you don't have the money, you have to finance it. And that's what you do, because when you guys are slaves, Your whole life is in a negative. So everything you do and buy is financed. Even the candy bar you might pull out cash to buy, it's financed because you're under zero. So they do you guys dirty, dirty. Now this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna read this. Yellow J, SMD family member Yellow J posted this in the Discord server, right? This article. Okay. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna read it to you, but I'm gonna read it to you in a way to make sure you understand that you are the low down dirty slaves that you are. That's why we treat you like this. Okay. That's what it's going to sound like. Okay. Because that's what it is. When I read this article, that's what it is. It's for you because you guys are slaves. Okay. Now, one second here. Let me bring this up here. And I'll put the link in there later. In the details of the video. But I'm gonna read this to you so you can understand who it's for. Oh, put it back. Sorry. Who it's for. Okay. Oops. Now, as I'm reading this, if you guys are texting and stuff in there or chatting, I can't read it. Okay, because I got the article full screen for me to read it to you guys. All right. All right. Now I'm gonna read it to you as it's really being said to you as the low down dirty slave that you are because they financially abuse you. Okay. Now, if you don't like it, you can always trust math and no longer be a slave. But if you hear me say this and you're a slave, that's too bad. You're a slave. You have to accept whatever is said and whatever I say. Okay. Let's get with the title right here. Should I pay off my mortgage early? Of course, that sounds good to you, slave, because you're never going to pay off a house ever. So let alone pay off your mortgage, pay it off early. Hell no, you guys will never be able to do that. They just put that title up there just for you guys to be attracted to it. You're never going to be able to do that ever. Determining whether to pay off mortgage early can be both emotional and financial decision. No, it's not. Financial decisions are never emotional. How do you feel about 1 + 1 = 2? Does that make you sad? Doesn't that sound stupid? That sounds totally stupid. That's why they're talking to slaves. That's why they're adding in emotions. Emotions have nothing to do with money. Okay. They're talking to you because you unconscious slaves always add your emotions to mathematics. You guys always do that. If your mortgage is one of your highest monthly expenses, of course it is, slave. That's why they said, "Hey, if mortgage is one of your highest," they're talking to you because it is. They're talking to you. Duh. Paying it off early may sound like a good idea to help you save money on interest and eliminate cost monthly bill, but they know you can't. That's why they just wrote it there. They're just saying stuff. Okay. If you pay off your mortgage early, of course it's going to eliminate interest in costly monthly bills or whatever. Of course, because it's not going to exist anymore. It doesn't have to exist. Only slaves believe you have to have a mortgage for 30 years. That's why they do you guys so dirty. They make you believe that it takes 30 years to pay off one house. And if you got a subprime mortgage, you're just like they're kicking you on the ground with your chains rattling and you continue to beg for more. You guys with subprime mortgages, you guys are never paying off your house ever. They already know that. That's why you have anybody that would sign a subprime mortgage should already know they're never paying off that house because only a slave would ever sign such a contract. All right. If you're considering refinancing or other methods to help you reach your financial goals, how is going in debt by refinancing a house that puts you deeper in debt, slave? How is that going to reach your goals by putting you deeper in debt? It can't. See what I'm saying? You guys don't trust mathematics. That line right there makes absolutely no mathematical sense whatever. I'm gonna reach my goal by going deeper in debt. No, I'm gonna be a slave longer. Then consider using an online marketplace Credible. Oh, what the hell? Oh, you're selling me something. Okay, what are you selling me, Credible? Credible can help you compare rates with compare rates and lenders within just minutes. Plus, it's free. Of course, it's free, slave. You think they're putting this up for free? No, they're not. None of this is free, slave. It's not free. They just put the word free because they know you guys like the word free. Think you're gonna get something for free. You think they're gonna put in all this work to give it to you for free? Stop it, slave. But do the numbers add up in terms of what you'd save? You wouldn't save nothing, slave. You're in debt. Okay, so before we go any further, this is what I want you to do. I want you to log into your Credit Karma, click on accounts, and look at that large negative number. Now put that in your head, write it down on a piece of paper or whatever, and then we're going to follow this article through the rest. That is your net worth. Okay, Credit Karma is telling you your net worth. So just log in there, add up your savings, add up your debt. That's your net worth. Yes, including your mortgage, student loans, tickets, all that stuff. All late bills that you ain't paid, you thought was going to drop off in 7 years, add it all up. That's your net worth. Okay, now we're going to go continue on with this article. Okay. And if so, how can you successfully shave years off your mortgage? You can't, slave. Should I pay off my mortgage early? That's not even an option for you. Okay, you guys have no money. You ain't paying off nothing early. Okay, that's a trick. There are a lot of factors to consider when deciding whether to pay off a mortgage early. Before, like having money. The only way you can pay off a mortgage early is if you have your own money. There's nothing to consider. There's nothing else to consider. That's the only way you can do it. But they're making it sound like to you that you have options. No, you don't. Before making any financial decisions, make sure you step back and see the big picture before you pay off your home. What big picture? Okay. Here are 5 questions to answer to help you make the right decision. Does my mortgage have a prepayment penalty? If it does, you're a slave. Nobody's going to tell me if I can pay off a debt early if I want to. I'll pay it off because I want to. And you're going to penalize me? Only a slave would accept such terms. Okay. Let's get that straight. Will I still have money for emergencies? You remember that number I was showing you guys in Credit Karma, right? That's your money for emergencies. You have nothing. You're a slave. Am I behind on retirement savings? Yeah, you have none. Log into your Credit Karma, click on accounts. That's your savings right there. That's your savings. Yes, that big number right there. That's what you have for retirement. Do I have other debt? You goddamn right you do. You got plenty. Your whole life is a mathematical illusion. Okay, you have plenty of debt. How important is this goal to me? You have no goals. Slaves are not allowed to have goals. You guys are owned. They own you. You can't have goals. You're a slave. Does my mortgage have a prepayment penalty? One of the first things you might want to contact the mortgage lender is to see if this prepayment penalty. Oh man, whatever. They just give you guys a bunch of just bullshit. It just okay. Let me see what they're saying. Charge an extra fee for paying off your mortgage early. Give you a fee for paying off. That's you know what that's for? If you happen to get a windfall and you do that, that's to penalize you because they wanted to make the most money as they could. And for you paying them off early, you're gonna cut their money off. So they might as well get a little extra something for doing that. That's all. But you'll never be able to do that anyway. So don't even worry about it. Prepayment penalties normally apply if you pay off a large amount of your home loan or your entire balance. Don't worry, you guys will never be able to do that, so don't even worry about that part. Usually, this penalty can be worked into the terms of the original loan term, so it's important to check to make sure you understand it. Oh God, whatever. Will I still have money for emergencies? Nope, you have no money. Paying off your mortgage early is a small feat. See how they minimize that? No, it's not. That is huge. Paying off your mortgage early is a small fee. No, it's not. How you're probably thinking, how do I know that? Because there's trillions of dollars in mortgage loan debt. That's how I know that. So if that's millions of people, you pay your house off, you're the opposite of all those millions of people. That's a small feat. No, it's not. They minimize it so you guys think it is. If you decide this, you also have to continue paying all of your other expenses, including your home maintenance and repairs. You got to do that with a mortgage. Why are you telling us that? They see how they financially abuse you guys. They state the obvious. Whether you have a mortgage or not, you still got house maintenance. So it's going to be much easier with no mortgage. I promise you. House maintenance won't be shit if you ain't got no mortgage to pay. Okay, I promise you. That's just to scare you guys. Okay. It's important to make sure you have an adequate amount of emergency savings lined up. That way you can be prepared for any unexpected expenses along the way. That all that line, you see that whole sentence, it's designed to scare you from paying off your house. Is all that stuff, that's all that stuff will still happen if you have no mortgage. It'll just be easier to handle with no mortgage, okay? Am I behind on retirement and savings? If you have a mortgage, yeah, you are. If you have a mortgage, you are behind on your retirement and savings. Yes, the answer is yes. Okay. You automatically save money on interest. However, you may be able to earn more. Wait, what? When you pay off your mortgage early, you automatically save money on interest. Duh. Yeah, I know that because the loan does no longer exist. Okay. However, you may be able to earn more from your money by putting it to work somewhere else, like the stock. Oh man, they do you guys so dirty. Oh, they just give that same old line. They use that same line for student loans. Hey, instead of paying off your student loans, why don't you just invest it in the stock market? Hey, instead of paying off your house, your mortgage, why don't you invest in the stock market? You know why they tell you that? Because money is invisible to you guys. As long as you guys are in debt, money doesn't exist for you. It doesn't. It doesn't. Oh, they do you guys so dirty. Oh, man. Consider whether committing to pay off your home will cause you to halt or stall other goals like investing in your retirement. And oh my God, they just love scaring you slaves. Most Americans have inadequate retirement savings. They always say that because they know it's you. So when you read that line, you'd be like, oh, that's me. Yeah, millions of you guys are doing that. Yeah, they're right. And then they throw in some guy with a certified title after his name to make you guys even scared, like he knows what the fuck he's talking about. Dominique Henderson, a certified financial planner. Whatever. I bet you Dominique got student loans up to his freaking eyeballs. If you're in that boat, which they know you are, you may consider foregoing the acceleration of your mortgage and instead use extra funds for investment to play catch up. You have no money. As long as you have a mortgage, you have no extra funds. That's your problem if you don't trust math, you unconscious slave. Do I have other debt? Yes. Be honest with yourself. You know your mortgage. Hey, check this out. You know your mortgage is not your only debt. You know why? You know how I know that? Because you have a mortgage. If you didn't have, check this out. If you didn't have any other debt, you wouldn't have a mortgage. But since you have other debt, voila, you have a mortgage. See how they do you slaves? They do you slaves so dirty. Ooh, they do you so. They make you believe it takes 30 years to pay off one house. They make you guys believe that it's okay to have two mortgages on one house. Oh man, I took out a second mortgage on the same house, you dirty slave. You you just said that out loud that you have two mortgages on a single house. Not only did you not have the money to buy the house in the first place, the very reason why you had to get the first mortgage, you went and took out a second? Oh my God. Mm, they do you guys so dirty. Ooh, they do you so dirty. There's no reason to steal from slaves. You guys know that, right? They don't trust math. They don't even know they don't trust math. There's absolutely no reason to do anything illegal, financially illegal against a slave. They're giving away money. They don't know they're slaves. Why are you going to steal from a slave that don't know they're a slave? That's like dirty. That's low down dirty. I couldn't do that. Owning your home outright can provide a peace of mind knowing that no one can take your house away from you. They're telling you right there, hey man, if you own your house, we can't take it away from you because you own it. They're telling you right there, but they're gonna say something else instead of it. Okay. If this makes financial sense for your situation, then you'll want to move forward with that goal. They know you can't move forward for that goal. Okay. They're just throwing that in there. You'll never be able to do that. You're in debt. You're slaves. Slaves are not allowed to own homes. That's against the laws of mathematics. Okay. You guys can't. Based on the current mortgage rate, it may be a good time to refi. Oh God! So then they throw that in there. It's time to refinance. Maybe you go deeper in debt instead of paying it off to see how much you could save. See how much money you could save by going deeper in debt. Crunch the numbers and compare the rates and more. You're not doing any of that. You're not doing any of that. You don't even know you're in debt. You don't know nothing about what they're talking about. Nothing. If they're reaching out to you, slave, saying that you should refinance your home, that means they're coming out to you for business. You think they're just doing that because they like you? No, that's business. They want you to get deeper in debt. Hey, you got about 50,000 in equity. Right now is a good time to refinance, slave. I know you are. You ain't got no job. They can't tell you that kind of stuff. They can't say stuff like that to you, but they're going to reach out to you right in this time of need. How to pay off your mortgage early. Let's see what they're saying here. After answering all those questions, you may be confident in your financial decisions, including the choice to end your loan term early. If you're ready to move forward, here are some easy ways to pay off your mortgage early and save some extra money. Refinance your mortgage. What the fuck? Okay, what that sentence didn't even okay. Including if you're ready to move forward, here are some easy ways to pay off your mortgage early and save some extra money. Number one, refinance your mortgage. That puts you deeper in debt. How is that going to pay it off early and save me some extra money? Switch to bi-weekly payments. What the live on less than you earn and commit to extra payments. Okay, I'm trying to figure out why would they do number one. Okay, so I guess they're thinking if the slave refinances the house, they'll take that money and start making bi-weekly payments with it. Like give it right back to him or something. Because that makes absolutely no sense. Refinance your mortgage. Refinance your mortgage can help you save thousands on interest by going deeper in debt, even shorten your repayment terms. If you refinance a 30-year mortgage to a 15 fixed rate home loan, your monthly payment may increase, but you'll be able to pay off your home earlier. Yeah, but they know a slave wouldn't do that, but they're just being nice, I guess. Even if you refinance to a 30 loan, but lock in lower rate, this means more of your payment can go towards principal instead of interest. Oh my God. Oh, slaves. Oh, slaves, they do you guys so dirty. They do you guys so dirty. Dirty, dirty. They do you guys so dirty. Let me stop sharing this now. All right. Let me see who's up in here. Sub Prototype. Omanique. Bronx. It says Bronx NYC. Enigma says, what if financing and credit were never invented? Imagine. Oh, yeah, that's bad news. No, I'm for the system. I mean, I'm glad they invented credit. That's awesome. Hyphy says the greatest investment they can never understand, yet the calculator proves it. Exactly. That's what makes this shit so powerful. The calculator can prove everything I'm saying. Everything. You speak to real people, you will not like you, but you're talking powerful truth. Yeah. And when people add their feelings to whatever I'm saying, and this is what I always say, I don't care how slaves feel about mathematics. I don't care about their feelings because that's all I'm saying is math. So if they feel a certain way, I don't care how they feel about math. I really don't care. And honestly, and I know this sounds hardcore, but I don't even hear slaves anymore. I don't hear them when they talk about money. Like when they start yip yapping on social media or videos, I don't even hear them anymore. Shout out to Donovan Wood for the $10 super chat. Appreciate your time tonight, LJ. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. You guys can obviously see I love what I do. Dennis says I've been seeing a lot of ads for debt consolidation services like Sophie. They're just raking it in right now. Yeah, they're taking advantage of scared slaves, jobless slaves. They're taking advantage of them. And when I say take advantage of them, I'm not saying in a negative way. I'm saying take advantage of them not knowing that they don't trust math. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Because everything they're doing is legal. Earning apps, payday loan, title loan places, all that stuff. Those are all legal businesses, right? But once you get out of the debt matrix, you wouldn't even drive by a title loan place. I would never walk into one of those places. You wouldn't even see me pulling into the parking lot of one of those places. Because if you're going to a title loan place, you are a low down, dirty slave. They're just picking your bones right now. They're just picking your bones. They're just whatever financial meat is left on your bones. Those are the bottom feeders. They're just ripping you apart. High interest finance loans. We finance here. Like when they do in-house financing at car lots, those are the bottom feeders. They're picking the remaining of the meat of financial meat on your bones. What's up, Big Truck?
Hey, good afternoon, good evening, and good Sunday.
Evening.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
You know what? On this question about mortgages, and by the way, just so everybody understands, I used to actually sell houses, mortgages, and do refinancing. It's when these topics come up, I was just thinking, I think one of the reasons why they're talking about people paying off their mortgages is because a lot of them have had parents who died during this coronavirus thing, so they've been left their estates. Like, for instance, my one of my aunts, her mother just died, and a lot of people are being left these windfalls. And I guess they're putting this information out because they're basically giving people a directive as to whether or not they should pay off their mortgage or if they should, for tax purposes, try to keep it running. But my thing is, you should always pay it off as soon as possible, But
Mm-hmm.
it's really funny that there's a lot of counter information, just like what you were reading. Like they're talking about, yeah, you don't need to do that. You can play the stock market, or you should
Mm-hmm.
use it for your mortgage tax discounts. In my
Yeah,
opinion, I'd rather have a mortgage paid off than to be getting a mortgage tax discount.
correct.
But
The slaves are happy to get a discount from something they don't even have to have in the first place.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But
When they say, "Oh, I'm so happy to write the interest off of my student loan," well, you don't even have to have the student loan, so you don't have to worry about no interest of anything.
yeah, but ultimately, those see the problem. The thing that I see, I think the biggest thing that's hurting us ultimately and putting people into debt is the fact that number one, we don't have a flat tax, number one. And I think the other big problem is that the tax code is so convoluted. Like I did my
Nah,
taxes.
man, no,
What? What?
no, we ain't
What?
going like that. No,
What?
no, I don't want people. You know what? This is what I'm saying, man. I don't want people coming here getting confused with that type of shit, man. I don't want them to think it's something like that. It's it's
What do you
it's
mean?
much, it's much more simple. It's not because the tax code is a certain way, and it's not because it's flat or whatever. Right? I don't want people thinking that, man. It's much
Well,
simpler than
no,
that.
but see, here's the thing. On a larger scale, the only reason why people are allowed to have this much credit in the front, because you got to understand, somebody can't spend money unless they're getting this money from someplace. Somebody can't go into debt unless they're given the debt opportunity somewhere, right? So my problem is by the Federal Reserve keeping these interest rates this low, all it does is incentivize loans. So it incentivizes, like basically just like what you're reading. All they're talking about is, oh yeah, well you can refinance, you can get a lower interest loan, and this, that, and other. My problem is that when you look at the really big picture, they just like you're saying they're creating
This is
slaves.
what I'm
But
saying. This is what
my,
I'm
but my
saying. This is
thing
what I'm
is,
saying.
how do you stop them?
This is what I'm saying. They're in debt.
Yeah.
I understand the big picture that you're saying. I do. I understand what you're saying. People in debt don't understand what you're saying. They don't know a thing. They don't. When you say look at the bigger picture, they can't. They're in debt.
And that's why it's so important to vocalize it and to say it in terms where people can see it and then they think about it and reflect. Let me tell you something. There's one video, and it turned my life around thinking about credit. There's this one guy who was on YouTube. I don't even think the guy's alive anymore. And just by seeing that video and seeing him break down credit cards and explaining to me just how badly fucked I was with credit
Mm-hmm.
cards, and it was a short video, and it's still on YouTube. And after I saw that video, I was like, you know what? It was like crystallized. And I was like, you know what? I could pay down all these debts, and I could pay myself out of debt, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the video, it was called Credit Card Debt, and it was by a YouTuber, The Sage and Spirit. Like I'll find it and I'll pull it up and I'll send it to you. You can look at it when you get a chance. But the thing about it is, some people just need that. They just need to. They need to see it in a certain way in order for it to snap. You know.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, that was it. And the guy explained it to me how badly screwed you were getting with, finance charges, this, that, and other. And I was like, you know what? I'm never paying them interest ever again. And I took it upon I paid off my credit cards. I paid off my student loans. I focused on paying off my mortgage. And that's the thing. Some people just need to see it. Like, they need that punch in the face,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Some people just need that. But here's the problem. There's so much counter information that they'll have you thinking that you're doing the right thing, or they'll have you
Well, that's
thinking
all
what you
part of the
should.
program. All right,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
all part of the program.
Exactly. And by the way, you've heard, I don't know if you heard, they're planning on getting rid of the current credit score system because they know that they can't generate more debt and more slaves under this system as easily as they want to. So I don't know if you've heard that. They're
Well,
planning on.
I think I heard the president talking about he was going to take over the credit system and get rid of the privatized credit system and make it.
Let me tell you, they need to fight that shit because that's the worst possible thing that they could fucking do. That is the worst
Who cares?
possible.
Who cares if they do it?
No,
So
no.
what?
Well, I care. I
Why?
care.
Why you care?
Well, I care because ultimately you're going to have, if you think the credit debt spending right now is bad, they're going to be spending twice as much later.
Who cares? So what?
I'm going to end up paying for it.
Mm.
My taxes are going to end up paying for it. They're going
Mm.
to end up having to raise taxes. I care.
Mm. Slaves pay taxes.
Yeah, well, I own
Everybody
property, so I
pays
pay
taxes.
taxes. So.
Put it this way: everybody pays taxes, but everybody doesn't pay taxes the same way.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. All right, man. I'm gonna have some other people up here. I want some new people to come up here, man. I want some new questions.
Sure.
All right, man. Thanks for jumping on, man.
Later.
All right. Red says there's a for show card for whole card. Anyone know about that? It seems like another debt. I've never even heard of that. It sounds like something for slaves. When you get you get funny names to like bank cards, that's an indicator that they're reaching out for slaves, because I would never get a card named a funny name like that. I just wouldn't do that. They already know who they're talking to. I promise you. What's up, Mosman? Now, okay, so today's this is for you guys to ask questions, okay? For free. Get some free answers, all right? Now, I want you guys to understand something about the SMD family here. When it comes to finances, I take out all the complexity of it, okay? All that complexity is an illusion. Okay, you guys don't even understand, like, slaves. Money's not even no form of currency exists for you. Not even paper money. None of it exists for you. You're a slave. Okay, that's why they do you guys like that. That's why when I read articles like that for you guys, that's why they do that to you, because you're slaves. Zero starts with you. That's the law. This is what the laws of mathematics say. Zero starts with you. If zero doesn't start with you, everything outside of you is mathematically incorrect. That's what the laws of mathematics say. This is not a trick. Zero starts with you. That's what the laws of mathematics say. But if you don't believe that, that means you're breaking the laws of mathematics. You're breaking the laws of mathematics. Anything, everything you buy will be financed because zero hasn't started with you. If your student loans is older than your car, your mortgage, your furniture, your phone, you're doing it wrong. All that stuff you have has to be a mathematical illusion because zero starts with you. And if you have student loans, obviously zero's not starting with you. You're under zero. Like whatever your student loan is, 50,000, 100,000, you're negative 100,000. You are under zero. I'm telling you guys, that's why I do these Q&A Sundays. I want you to get this why it's free. Because when I blow up, that's going to be impossible. That's really going to be impossible. I promise you that's going to be impossible. This is the only type of channel on YouTube that's going to take you past all this financial bullcrap that you're seeing. This is, I know it looks really, really bad right now, but there's a good side. Remember, this is always an opposite. If you focus on the bad, you won't realize the universe said there's an opposite to everything. Everything has an opposite. Because right now it's not bad for everybody. Right now they seeing the reset is happened. The reset has happened. So don't get caught up with your friends on social media. You see all the people buying houses in 2020, 2021. Those are slaves. And they're about to find out when all the banks are doing is locking them in to the housing market prices of today. They're locking them in. So when the housing market crashes, guess what? Those slaves will still be paying full price for a house that's not even going to be worth that price. That's how you lock slaves in. So when you see them on social media holding a paper key, talking about their homeowners, that's why they got a paper key, because they're not homeowners. They're not homeowners. You see that big key they're holding? That's their real key. What door you think that's going to fit in? Nothing, because it doesn't exist. That's their real key. It's made of paper. You'll be a slave until you're dead. You keep doing that, that's what you're going to do. If you believe, right, like right now, if you believe like truly in your heart that you're never going to pay off your student loans, you might as well stop listening to me. You might as well stop. You might as well just unsubscribe from this channel and leave if you believe that, because you'll never know what me or any of the SMD family members will be talking about. You can never understand it because it will be mathematically impossible for you to see. And if you can't see it, you most definitely will never feel what true freedom is. You'll never feel that. You'll never feel this ever. You'll never know what it feels like to owe nobody on earth a dime. You'll never know what that feels like. That's impossible. You can't. You can't. That's mathematically impossible. So if you believe you'll never pay off your student loan debt, you might as well forget it and you might as well look in the mirror and say, guess what? I'm going to die a slave. You sure are. You're going to die a slave. If you were one of these millions of people worried about Social Security money, if it's going to run out, they're telling you they're slaves. If you're worried about Social Security money, that's a different kind of problem. You mean you were looking for the government to take care of you when you're old and gray? What about you just take care of yourself? I don't care how slaves feel about mathematics. I don't care. That's why it's very hard for me to watch financial channels on YouTube. I just can't. And then these relationships. Have you noticed how big these relationship channels are just blowing the fuck up, right? Just talking about, they're all doing the same shit. They're all doing the same repetitive thumbnails, the same topics, all that bullshit. The majority of those people are deep in debt, just trying to escape. You know why they're popular? And I want you guys to understand something. When you're out of debt matrix, you can see everything. You know why they're popular? Anything that helps them escape their lives for an hour, for 2 hours, escape their own lives and talk about somebody else's life. That's why they're popular. Because the majority of people are trying to escape their lives of today. Don't let social media fool you, man. This is a rough time right now. People are having a rough time, and if you believe on social media, man, you're gonna be. This is the problem. It's gonna look like on social media people are just doing something like this has never happened. This is not affecting them. They're still living their lives as normal, and then you are gonna be looking at that, knowing your life is not feeling like you're not normal, and you're gonna start feeling bad about yourself and say, "What am I doing wrong? How come they're doing so good?" Blah blah. That's a trick. Remember, everything has an opposite. So if you see them putting up smiling pictures and going on trips, everything's smiling, you got to know that's incorrect. Who do you know that smiles 24 hours a day? No, it has to be the opposite too. But they're just not posting that. People don't post about the bad times. People don't post about the bad times. And usually the people that post the most about their life are usually the ones that are doing the worst. Because sometimes you feel like they're trying to shove it down your throat. You're like, hey, man, why are you trying to shove that down my throat? God damn. When I see shit when you get out of debt matrix, you look at social media totally different once you're out of the debt matrix. I swear to God, it's totally different. It's totally different. Social media is not the same. Oh my God, you guys have no idea. When you're out of the debt matrix, if you see the kind of ads that are on social media, I mean, that stuff is just like, that's clearly for slaves. Most of the ads you guys see on social media, that stuff is clearly for slaves, clearly. And they always say, hey, hide ad. Oh, you didn't like it, irrelevant. They don't change how many, they still shoot ads. I don't even know why they keep allowing me to say this is irrelevant. And because it never stops. Man, it's totally different. And then you see people on social media, you're just like, I know you're lying. I could when you could see people that are in debt up to their eyeballs. You can see it. I promise you can see debt on people. You can see them. What's up, FIC?
What's up, LJ?
What's happening, man?
Yeah,
Welcome
I'm
back.
all right. Huh?
Welcome back.
Yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, man. Quick question for you. Well, know that I'm aware and I'm conscious. I'm being a contractor. Now, how do you switch off that sympathy for the slaves? You know, that they cannot afford, but they be like, hey, I want to get this done, I want to get that done, and you're like, man, they can't do it. How do you take away that sympathy that you will be having for the slave?
How do I take the sympathy out of what? I'm trying to understand your question.
Okay, so being conscious, right?
Okay,
And
being conscious, yeah.
I right. So like I'm a contractor, so
Okay.
so being conscious now, and I'm meeting clients,
Mm-hmm.
and they be complaining, hey, look, I don't have that to do this because of such and such and such, but they want to get that done and get this done.
Mm-hmm.
And knowing that, being conscious,
Mm-hmm.
knowing that they cannot afford,
Mm-hmm.
but they want to get it done.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I was not in this era of consciousness,
Mm-hmm.
I would have said, to hell with it, I'm gonna get it done because that's what they want to get done. But
Mm-hmm.
now that I'm awake or
Mm-hmm.
conscious, it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of hard now, like almost taking advantage of them. How do I shut down that part of it, that emotional part, or that
To tell,
technically
yeah,
like a
to tell
guilt,
them
like a
no if
guilt.
they don't have enough money, just to say no to them.
Well, knowing that they cannot, they might have the money, like technically, they might have the money, but they really don't have the money.
The money for your services, right?
Yeah, yes.
Then if they don't have the money for your services, you say no.
No, well, they could pay, but maybe I don't think I'm explaining it properly. They could pay for the service, but
But you
really
know they don't have any money, really,
they don't
really.
have, exactly, they don't have any money really.
You know,
Yeah,
there's okay. You're saying you know they're slaves, but they're
they
gonna.
are slaves,
Oh,
exactly.
how do you take your? Okay, well, you got to remember that's business. Okay,
Okay,
you cannot get your feelings involved in that. That's business. That you could put it. Okay, this is the best way. It's their fault that they don't trust math. They're choosing it. They're choosing not to trust math. That'll help you take your feelings out of it.
okay.
Okay, because they're choosing it.
I got you, man. This is stuff. This is stuff where I'm
That's a good
my
question, though. I
wicked, man.
see what you ask, and I really wanted to get your question right, and I know what you're saying, and I know how you feel about it. I get, but remember, those are feelings. If this is business,
Right.
you can't involve feelings. Will mess. See how feelings will mess it up. You can't let that happen.
Yeah, damn it, man. This is stuff though. This is
Yeah,
stuff.
but that's how business. That's how this business is, though. That's business, though. That's
Right.
business.
All right. I'll take away the feeling, LJ, because I've been through some stuff where, man, I have to shake my head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it is really tough, and it's just, I think it's just playing on my conscience. It's just so tough knowing that slave want to do that.
It'll take a minute because you're like newly, right? You're like newly conscious, correct?
Yes, yes,
Okay,
yes.
all right. So okay. That part is just a phase. Okay, all right. So you being like feeling like that, I remember I was feeling the same way. I felt bad. You know, I just felt so bad for him. But then that'll stop.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
that's just part of the growing part.
I got you.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah, well, thanks for that, because, man, it been tough. It been tough of lately with some of those slaves, for real.
Yeah, but you got to remember, if without them, we couldn't be free.
True.
Right? We couldn't be free if they didn't exist. So we need them to finance cars and shoes and refrigerators and phones. We need that.
Yeah,
I know it sounds horrible, but it's true.
Yeah, it's definitely is true, man. I got you. I mean,
we need them to believe.
as you say, you have to take your feelings away.
We need them to believe that it's okay to keep student loans their entire lives.
There you go.
Yeah.
And that is pretty much that is pretty much like 95% of the population.
Yes. I think it's even more, honestly.
Yeah.
I think it's more. I think it's like 97.
Yeah, 98. Yeah. It is because some of the stuff I've been hearing on the local radio is just promoting slavery over and over.
Over and over. But you got to remember, you can hear that and see that. Okay? Never forget that. When you see that, millions of people don't. So you got to recognize that you can see something that millions of people, I mean, you got to really realize that you can see something millions of people can't. That's going to help you. That's going to help you empower and understand what this really means that you're saying and you're seeing.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see you. That the matrix is powerful, man. I see you.
It's real. It's real. Now go try to say that to a slave. They're gonna think you crazy. Oh man, you've been watching the movie and all this stuff, and then you don't want to talk to slaves anymore.
For real, man. For real.
Yeah. See, you see where I'm at. I'll tell a slave they're a slave to their face. I don't really care because it's their fault.
Oh man, I know where you're coming from, man. I see something today, but I know what you're talking about.
You'll get there. Trust me, you'll get there. Your feelings will dissipate, and You won't worry about how they feel about me. You won't care how they feel about math, because that's what it
Right.
really is. You feel bad that they don't trust math.
Yeah.
And that doesn't even make any sense, right? You feel bad because they don't trust math. That don't even make sense.
Don't make sense, but man, it's kind of, it's terrible. It's just the conscience is just there. Just it's kind of terrible. Just looking at this person wanted to have a large patio and knowing that they don't have the money. It's terrible.
Yeah, but this is to your advantage too, because you know something that millions don't. Millions of people don't know it. That's why if they knew what we knew, student loan debt wouldn't exist, credit card debt wouldn't exist, car loan debt wouldn't exist. But they don't, and thank God they don't, because I get to live free.
There you go. Sure thing.
Slaves are number one. Slaves are number one.
Yeah. Hey, LJ, man. Yeah. Well, I just have to see it as it is, and hey, if you want to get it done, let's do it. Contract signed. I do the job and get my money, and I'm out.
Get them out.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, man. Well,
all right, man. Hey, great question, man. I appreciate the question.
Yeah, no problem, man. I'll jump back in the chat.
All right.
All right.
That's a great question. Great question. Oh, appreciate that live. All right. Dave says, I have 4 friends. They are way overseas right now. Oh, talking to somebody else. Vincent says, if you don't have a lot of jobs, you charge less, but if you have lots of work, charge more. Enigma says, I don't pay my entire apartment lease in advance. I'm a damn slave too. I mean, when you can do it. I mean, I'm not saying every apartment complex will give you a deal, but these are the times that people are not paying their rent. So I'm assuming that there's going to be a lot of apartment complexes will give you an awesome deal if you say you pay the whole lease out. Hey man, if I pay you the whole lease, can I get 2 months knocked off? So for a year, you get to pay 10 months, for a whole year. That's winning. No, I want like a Kit Kat. Oh, Moses says, I find the slave ideology interesting. What if one of the loves of my life is a slave? I guess I'll just have to move on if she isn't doing anything to get exactly. You'll have no choice. You'll never be with a slave. Okay, that will never happen. I promise you that'll never happen. Oh no, I won't do that. I won't get slaves to number one. Now, check this out. There's too many unconscious slaves to walk around with a shirt like that. They would be like, oh, who you calling a slave? 300 years of slavery. You a black dude. Why you? I don't want to explain. I'm not saying any of that kind of stuff. I'm not explaining any of that. So slaves are number one t-shirts. No, I ain't doing that. All right. So we're about almost an hour in here. Any more questions? Anybody in the background want to ask some questions? Anybody want to be free? He said slave in law. Oh man. Well, let me know if you guys got some questions. There's my website scrolling along the bottom there if you want a consultation. If you want to be free, if you want to stop being a slave, man, I got the blueprint for you. All right, I'll tell you exactly which way to go. All I got to do is just hear you. Once you talk to me about your financial situations, I'll know exactly what to do for you. I promise you. Now, I leave that stuff up to other SMD family members. I don't really talk outside of personal finances. So we'll have other SMD family members come up, or we can join the Discord server and they have answers like that for you guys, because you got to remember there's aliens ahead of me. All right. I'm just beginning this journey. I'm beginning my own journey. All right. These guys are other SMD family members are light years ahead of me. Okay. But they'll teach you in a way you're going to look at the whole business environment from a debt-free perspective, right? From a perspective millions of other people cannot see. Because you got to remember, the majority of people are in debt. That means those are slaves. Anybody under zero, they're a slave. So lower class, middle class, upper class, those economic classes don't exist. That structure only exists in the debt matrix. They believe it exists. There's only two classes, the debt class and the non-debt class. There's nothing else. Okay, nothing else. Honestly, Kwam, it's like this, man. Once for me, and I'm gonna tell you for me, okay. Once I became debt free, this right here, when I'm talking to you guys right now on the mic, this right here was born. Okay, something inside of me was saying, "Hey, get on YouTube." I don't know how to really explain that. First, it was fitness, and then there was too much noise in fitness, and then I jumped over here to the money thing, and voila, I'm here. So the one thing I suggest is because I believe everybody has something inside of them that they would love to be doing, that they would damn near do it for free. They love it so much. They would do it for free. You find that, you turn that into a business, you'll never work another day in your life making good money, right? You have to create something. Okay. If you ever want to be like free, you can't be free with a job. Okay, so I'm gonna just say that right now. You cannot be free with the job, the type of freedom I'm talking about. So you have to create something. You have to create something of worth that brings something create something that's going to help another person improve themselves to become a better person. This is what I'm doing here. This was born from it. So I say it will help you, especially you will be able to see things in business that the majority of people in debt in business can't see because you're debt free. I'm in groups and people are happy to be getting their taxes back. Some people have already gotten their tax return back and that money's already gone. Damn. Shout out to Frenchell for 4.99 super chat. Thank you. I filed chapter 7 1 year ago. I'm debt free. My boyfriend is talking about turning his truck in. He owed 20,000 for a hell. Ooh, goodness gracious. About turning his truck turning in his truck. He owed $20,000 for a Hellcat. More debt. I want to break up. Woo, boy, he's in some deep doo doo. If he's trying to work on getting out of debt, because I'm not saying never date a slave, but they would have to understand something. I mean, if you got involved and they were a slave, and you say, "Hey, I want to tell you, I really like you." You say it just like I really like you, right? But you have some debt. You have to have a plan on you paying that off. Are you planning to die with it? You got to have a plan if we want to go any further. If you don't, we can't do this. Yeah, I have a photography business and hosting. Okay, cool. Just make that explode, man. If that's your passion, people can see. That's the wonderful thing about your passion. People can see that it's your passion. Like when people hear me on the mic, they know I'm not joking. I'm not joking. I'm not making it up. I'm not trying to steal from them. I'm not trying to rip them off with some fancy uh, financial plan that's somehow. No, this is guaranteed, baby, right here. You just follow this plan. It's guaranteed. No ifs, ands, or buts. You're going to be a totally different person. They can clearly see it's my passion. What's up, Nicer? I want you guys to find your passion, man. And the only way I was able to find my passion, I had to own myself first. First, I had to become free. It wasn't until then, it wasn't until I became free is when my passion came to me. That's when it came to me. Because you got to remember when you're working and when you're in debt, you have barely any time for yourself. You don't have any, you're 40 hours plus dedicated to your job, and then you got to add in the hours of traffic there and to from work every single day, and extra hours if it rains, if it snows. Oh man. Mm, When I think back about that right now, man, I remember sitting in traffic. I used to say to myself, man, there's nothing I can do about it. I remember saying that. I remember being in traffic thinking there was absolutely nothing I could do about it. I almost accepted that sitting in traffic every single weekday of my life was just going to be part of life until I retire. And this was what I meant to say the other day, man. This was a question because I wanted to ask this, right? People usually work all their lives and then they retire, and then 5, 6 years later they die. And let me help you guys understand something, okay? When a person has a job, they identify themselves with that title, right? That title, the title that they have from their employer means something to them. They are a system engineer, blockady manager, service site, something manager. This title is them. And then they have this title all their lives. And then when they retire, that title's stripped. And then they figure out, well, who the hell am I without that title? That's the problem. I guarantee you this, the majority of people, when that job title is gone and they find out they're just John Doe, and then like, who's John Doe? I don't know. I had to go through that when I quit my job. I had to go through that withdrawal. It was like coming off of drugs, man. I had to say to myself, I have to let go of Linnell, the systems engineer. I had to let that go. You know how hard that was? That shit was hard. I was Linnell, the systems engineer, for 20 years. 20 years, six-figure earner, 20 years, a high-paid IT slave. That's what I was the whole time. But it took me about a year to let go of LJ, the systems engineer. A year. I had to, and I had to say to myself, I'm not going back to that. I couldn't even imagine sitting in front of a computer screen trying to figure out a business's problems anymore. I just couldn't do it. LJ, I've lost 35 pounds since I retired. Freedom is priceless. Priceless, man. It takes big balls to do this, baby. It takes big balls. And you got to trust in the universe. Something that you can't physically detect. Good luck. Good luck with that. It's going to take some big balls to do that. Everybody knows it exists, but since you can't point at it, you can't touch it, you think, oh, that's not true. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's like I try to give the best example. This is the best example I can do for a person that that wants to understand how to listen to this. Okay, it's through thought. Thought is a frequency. It's an energy, right? It's a thought. So let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. Okay, so if I was standing in front of you and I said, I want you to say car in your head. Okay, in your mind, I want you to say car, right? Now, you don't have to speak, you don't have to say it, you just say it in your head. Now if I was standing in front of you, I said, okay, did you say it? You tell me yes, right? You say, yeah, I did say it, right? And now I'll say to you, now prove to me that you said it. Prove to me that you said it in your mind, or else you're lying. Right? You would look at me like I'm crazy, right? You'd be like, well, I did say it in my mind, but I can't prove it to you. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, there's a thought in your head. You know you said it, so that's a frequency, right? That's what it sounds like. So when it was time for me to say quit that job, something came to me and said, "Hey, you need to quit this job." And in your mind, you say, "Okay, what else am I going to do?" The thought says, "Don't worry about that part. Just do what I say now." And that's what I did. Now I'm on this mic in front of you. Now I'm on this mic in front of you. Voila. Different than millions of people. I found savings minus debt. That formula right there will change your whole financial life. And I had the domain. Out of millions of people on earth, I came up with that and bought the domain. That alone should tell you something right there. Millions of people didn't know this. They don't. True wealth is your time in your life to own it. You do whatever it takes to own the time in your life. That's true wealth. It's not money. Money comes when you own yourself. When you log into your Credit Karma, that's an owner's ledger. That's just a list of your owners. That's all. And a credit score is the value of you, slave. That's how they value you. If you got a high credit score, you're a high valued slave. All of those people that on your list, those are your owners, and that's the score they give you. So that tells other owners to say, "Hey, this slave is worth. Look at his credit score. Look at his credit score. This is a high value slave." Don't you guys get that? That's credit agencies are privately owned entities. That means it's a business. And remember, they're not hiding anything from you. They're telling you right to your face. You are the ones that don't trust math. Unconscious slaves do. They do you guys dirty every day. Businesses, like I said earlier, businesses is about taking advantage of unconscious slaves that don't trust mathematics, and they don't even know they don't trust mathematics. When you have standards, you will have a lot of enemies. Yes. Not really. You won't even really get to know people like that. And if they're slaves, I don't care. I don't care what slaves, I don't care how slaves look at me. I don't care how slaves feel about what I'm saying. I don't care how slaves think they're better than me because they have something, a bigger house, and I don't have a house. And I don't care what slaves think at all. I don't even care. I don't even hear them. I don't have to prove anything to you, slave. You're a slave. Now, it's again, I know it sounds harsh, but again, I don't care how they feel about mathematics. I don't care. Honestly, I'm more just here to help you guys slaves to become a conscious slave, right? I want you to stop walking around earth being unconscious, being an unconscious slave. I want you to become conscious and free yourself. There's absolutely nothing like it. There's nothing like it. Nothing can compare to it. Not a car, not the best house, not the best jewelry. Nothing can compare to owning yourself. Nothing. Nothing's going to make you feel better. You know that thing that you're looking for when you buy some shit, and then it satisfies it for a second, and then it's back to the same feeling. Yes, the same thing. Now you're just a slave with a new car. You're just a slave with a new purse. That's it. That's why the feeling's temporary, because you're still a slave. Your circle will change. You'll notice that most of your friends and your family are slaves. All that will change. You can't be around slaves. You cannot be around slaves. You cannot hear slave talk. You can't, when they start talking about refinancing a house, taking out a second mortgage, buying a rental property, and then they're talking about they got some income coming in. They're going to make the renter pay the mortgage. They talk so stupid. So stupid. Out loud in public. You can't be around that anymore. Those days are done. Those days are done. Retired says, LJ, most of my friends are slaves. It's tough to watch their lives under control of the. Yeah, that's tough. It is tough. Me and my friends, we agree not to talk about finances. We agreed to not talking about it. I won't even lie. When I was a slave, life was fun. It was a struggle, but it was fun to be naive. I get, you know what? Honestly, Dave, I get what you're saying because I was like that too. I just remember. I just remember. I knew. I knew something was. I knew I was missing a piece, man. It didn't matter what new job I got. It didn't matter where I went on vacation. You know, I started trying to feel in, okay, maybe I'm not traveling enough. Uh maybe I'm not doing something I'm supposed to be doing. Everybody else is doing. Nope, I was just in debt. I was just a slave on vacation. I was a slave in a new car, slave in a new job. I was just a slave. I knew something was missing. I knew it. And in a way, it's kind of cool to be naive, but at the same time, I just knew. I was like, man, like those days that you wake up and you really don't want to go to work, man. You just want to stay there and lay in the bed and go to sleep and just go back to sleep. But if you can't, that means you're a slave. That's why you can't sleep. You have to get up and go. If you have to get up and go, that means they own you. Yes, I can't be naive anymore. It hurts. Once you know this information, Mosman, there is no going back. So if you're trying, you might as well stop because once you know this, there's absolutely no going back. You don't want to go back. It's just, you know what that is? That's just residual left over from the program. It's very difficult to leave it. Uh, I understand to take big balls to quit a six-figure job. There's no way millions of people would ever do that. But in order for me to feel true freedom, that had to happen. And I listened to that from the universe saying I had to do this. I didn't know why I had to do it, but I did it. Now I understand why, because that's the only way to own myself. You can't own yourself with a job. That's impossible. Yeah, but it's a good thing for you, Mosman. I promise you. Can you imagine going negative 30 in 1 year in student loans? No. Ooh, we so dirty. On top of that, 20K from under. Yeah, man. But hey, you know what? Again, I know this is harsh, man, but I couldn't be free. People like me could not be free if it wasn't for slaves. The economy would not work without slaves. Okay. The economy's like this. The economy, it doesn't matter. It's this economy. You can go over to the UK. It is going to be the same thing. If the economy runs on debt, you just trust math and follow their rules or whatever their rules are. You don't have to, you could like this. Say like I was going to move to the UK, right? First, I understand. I kind of watch UK stuff. Their system is based on debt too, right? I would just go over there and say, okay, how your tax system work? Well, I'll just hire the right person for the key points of how the whole system work. All of those people I hire will be debt free. They will not be in debt because they will know exactly what I want them to do to follow the rules. We don't cut corners. We don't hide money, pretend money doesn't exist, and all that other stuff. We trying to lie about some shit. You know. Thank you, sir. It was fun, rather ignorant bliss, just like the cipher in the matrix, just like cipher in the Matrix. He said, "This steak is juicy and tasty, but I know the steak isn't real." Yeah, I know. People think. I remember watching that movie for the first time in the movie theaters, and I remember saying it to myself. I said, "What if this is real?" And you almost forget that when you're watching a movie, that's the best way they can do to describe a situation to you, right? You think, but you accidentally believe that the movie. I remember translating to myself, well, that kind of stuff in the movie can happen in real life. Well, yeah, it can't. That's why it's a movie, right? But but it's real. But this is what I think for me. I have the gift to be able to actually show people that they're in a matrix, right? I can show them. The majority of people that talk about this kind of stuff, they can't really show people like, yeah, there's the universe and blah, blah, blah. They can talk about it, but they can't really show people. I can show people that they live in a matrix with mathematics. I can show them that money does no currency. I can show them gold, silver, platinum, paper money. None of that exists for slaves. And I can prove it to them and leave it up to them to actually believe it. Make them, and not only prove it to them, make them put in the numbers in their own calculator, make them do it themselves and hit equal themselves so they can see it. That's the gift I have out of over the majority of just finance people. Just a lot. I want to give my slave friends financial advice, but it won't help. Slaves or stuff. You know what? This is what I suggest. Retire, man. Enjoy your life. Let them see how happy and free you are. They'll come asking to. They'll start asking questions then. Because if you go to them and try that, they're gonna make you feel like you're trying to, like you think you're better than them, and that's what you're not trying to do. You're just trying to show them something that they're not seeing, and they just refuse to accept it. You know what I'm saying? So just let them come to you. Just let them see how happy and free you are, and then they'll be like, man. Because I was just thinking of this the other day. The two things to better health. This is what I truly feel. The two things that are the keys that are for better health: less stress and more rest. Two things slaves cannot have because they're so deep in debt. So they have to always work because they're in debt. And since they always have to work and they're in debt, they always stressed. They believe stress is part of life. You can talk to a slave also almost every day. Just ask, hey man, how you been doing? Oh man, I'm stressed. They all say the same thing. Oh man, I just been stressed. Like it's normal. That's not normal. But they believe it's normal. Less stress, more rest. I love sleeping. I love sleeping. Love it. Because I think about it this way too. Obviously, our body needs rest. We have to sleep, right? And it needs whatever it's doing, it needs us to be unconscious for it to do it. That's why we got to sleep. Whatever it needs brain activity off. Whatever it's like, it puts us in a coma to do whatever it needs to do. Just like shut up, and then so we can do what we need to do. But that's why, like at night, I cut myself off at 8 o'clock. All right, and this is what I think. This is how I think. Cut myself at 8 o'clock. And then I don't eat till 12 o'clock the next day. I give my body, I don't want it processing food. I don't want to have been doing any extra work, because if it needs to shut my brain off to do whatever it needs to do, that seems like that's something pretty important to me. That's how I look at it. It's got to be something pretty important that it needs me unconscious to do it. And I don't need it to be processing late night chips and stuff in the middle of the night, processing all that damn food. I want to have its full concentration on doing whatever it needs to do, that it needs me to be asleep to do it. That's all. I plan on taking it all off before next month. Take what all off? Did you say something earlier? All right, you guys, we're gonna wrap this up, man. I appreciate you guys all. Thank you for joining this Q&A Sunday, and thank you for just listening to me. I hope you guys, get those words and the deep meaning of this type of freedom that I'm trying to explain to you guys. You can follow me on Instagram. Okay. Please don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to hit that like button. Follow me on Facebook. There's my Cash App. You got any questions? You can SavingsMinusDebt@gmail.com. What else here? Join the Discord server. I put the link in the link to that is in the description, where not only myself but other SMD family members are there answering questions. If you got any questions on, just investing and other things outside of personal debt that I talk about, they'll be more than happy to talk to you about it. Okay. And they'll give you the debt-free answers that you're looking for. Okay. Appreciate it, Hyphy. Thank you, sir. Well, you guys have a good night. All right. Until next time, I will holler at you later. Bye.